Stadium. Perfect November day. Hard to believe we're almost at Thanksgiving and sitting here in shirt sleeves today in Big Neyland. The crowd, well, it will not be capacity. We'll get an official word later. They will give us the figure on the number of tickets sold, but right now it looks like 85,000, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood, 90,000 at the most. But it's a big game, and for Vanderbilt, they come in excited. 70 degrees. Can you believe that? 30% humidity, a light wind in the forecast, sunshine, and good football.
Something tells me we better enjoy this 70-degree weather, because I think in a couple of weeks we're going to pay for this, but it's an awesome day.
Well, the officials today from the Southeastern Conference, of course, headed up by that man, referee Jay Vines, an experienced crew. Tennessee will be kicking off to the Vanderbilt Commodores here today, and we'll see how this one unfolds. They've got some experience, 97 years of doing this.
And Tennessee played its best football game last week against Mississippi State. One area that they wanted to improve was in special teams. They gave up a lot of return yards last week to Mississippi State, actually 323 yards in returns against Mississippi State, and they want to get that corrected today.
Will Hoyt will kick off to Hatcher and Davis. He sails it. He puts it into the end zone, and this one is not returnable. And so the Vanderbilt Commodores will put it in play, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Well, Will Hoyt gets them off to a great start from a special teams perspective. Not much you can do if you kick it out of the end zone.
Cutler, another one of those quarterbacks. I think every quarterback just about we have seen this year, Terrence, is in the 6'3", 6'4" range and around 225, 230. Everywhere you look, they're all just about the same size now.
He's a big kid and has tons of potential, running the ball as well as throwing the ball, coming off his best performance throwing the football last week.
They give it to Matthew Kent, the fullback / tailback, and he gets a couple of yards before Constantine Richmond made the stop. Matthew Tant. The Vanderbilt offense brought to you by Subaru, Geisinger, Koloviski, Sorensen, Pyle, and Stamper up front. And then you have Cutler, Tant, McKenzie, Smith, Davis, and Brenshaw starting today at tight end. Cutler stands up, wants to throw, does in the flat complete, near the marker and out of bounds to Eric Davis. And it's right at the first down marker. It covered 8 yards.
We talked about Jay Cutler, what he means to this Vanderbilt offense. The last 11 touchdowns scored by this Vanderbilt offense, Jay Cutler has had a piece of. He has thrown 11 touchdowns.
The Tennessee defense brought to you by Subaru. Harrelson, Mapu playing outstanding. Greg Jones is in there too, and we will detail the story of his tragic week and the loss of his sister in an accident. Here is Cutler rolling to his right, being chased, fires up in the air. This one, no chance. Well defended, and I think he might have just let it go at the last moment. Brandon Smith in the neighborhood, but so defensively was Jabari Greer, along with Rashad Baker. Baker starts today. We had thought Campbell might start. Baker is not 100%, but he is a senior. He's a captain. He's an outstanding player, and so he is getting the start today. He did play some last week against Mississippi State. Tennessee with their best offensive showing last week, and Vanderbilt with their best all-around showing, offense and defense, in their win over Kentucky. So they're both coming in feeling pretty good about themselves. Cutler on the keeper, got knocked down in the backfield. Tennessee waiting for that one. This guy is a good runner, and Tennessee knows that. Jabari Greer came up. Greer with the track speed would not be denied on that one.
You're exactly right. We talked about he had 129 yards rushing last week, and they're going to give him an opportunity to try to do something with his legs. Jabari Greer says, I'll have none of that.
Cutler, his first inclination when he came to Vanderbilt was to run every time. They finally convinced him he does have to throw some, and he is throwing quite well. Going to run the option. A little bit of a mix-up, it appeared right there. He was hesitant on whether to pitch or not, and Gabriel Wilson and Jabari Greer made sure he didn't.
Jabari Greer is off to a great start. Vanderbilt's first 3 offensive plays, Jabari Greer plays a role. Little indecision there by Cutler. Great play by Jabari Greer. Takes away the pitch guy and turns it back inside for the pursuit.
Ramanesh is back to punt for Vanderbilt. This is a different team in that there are no seniors on the Vanderbilt team, at least in the lineups. A rather poor kick, but it takes a decent roll, and Tennessee's Jones lets it bounce and roll, and Tennessee will put it in play in pretty good shape. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. All right, Tennessee now, after holding Vanderbilt, after one first down, will go into action on offense right here. Casey Clausen has a great year, and he has had his moments when the fans were not always behind him, but in these last few games they have realized what a great performer he has been. Took out an ad, which we'll talk about at halftime, and also just to say thank you in the Knoxville News Sentinel to all of the fans, and got a really roaring appreciation here in the pregame. Officials straightening out something out there. The teams are ready to play. Checking the clocks, I think the play clocks. Coach Fulmer knows what his team has to do here in these final two games against Vanderbilt and a week from today against Kentucky. They have a chance, but they'd have to have some help from other teams to beat Georgia and or Florida, but at least they could get into a very good bowl. We have representatives of the Capital One Bowl here today, as well as the Outback Bowl in Tampa. Casey rolls, wants to throw on the first play, got a man wide open. Down to midfield, into Vanderbilt territory, the 40, down to the 39-yard line goes Tony Brown. Dominic Morris made the stop from cornerback, but Tony Brown, the 6'2", 200-pound junior, was wide open. Here's the Subaru Tennessee offense. Munoz, Herrera, Wells, Douglas, and Young up front. Clausen, Fleming, Houston in the backfield. Brown and Jones, your receivers, and Victor McClure is the tight end. Big play, and that's exactly the way Tennessee wanted to start this game. On a very positive note, they put it in the hands of the tailback, and there's not much there for Fleming. Fleming has been a tailback. He's been a fullback. He's actually wasn't at one time a linebacker here at Tennessee, but they quickly moved him out of that position and put him back in the backfield. Here's the Subaru defense. Javon Hay has had a great last 2 or 3 games, and he's the key man up there. Osemaji has been outstanding all year at linebacker. And in the secondary, Hojana is a very good one. Hojana is a man to watch. Here is Clausen, nowhere to go. Finally flips it out in a safety valve to Fleming. It's dropped. Is it a fumble or was it down? I think they were really down there, and just Vanderbilt jumped on it, but I don't think it's going to be their ball. We'll have to wait till they unwind down there and determine that.
I'm not sure this isn't a fumble.
And in the bottom of all of that, the Vanderbilt player is shaken up, but I don't think seriously. Let's take another look.
Play action. Tennessee trying to look down the field. Clausen feeling the pressure. It's going to go to his little drop-off, Troy Fleming, and that's a fumble. I think Clausen may have recovered it, but that's a fumble.
Well, it definitely was a fumble, and I guess Clausen was the man on it because they rule it's Tennessee's possession. Thought they were hesitating to call it a fumble, but it most definitely was. Randy Sanders, a shot of him there on the sidelines, the offensive coordinator. Clausen's got 3 receivers set to his right, and he goes in that direction. He's got one of them wide open. It's Mark Jones. What a career Mark Jones is winding down here at Tennessee.
Mark Jones playing his best football. Senior, so versatile, so dependable. They run the quick slant, and Mark Jones bobbles it, but does a good job of catching it on the second try.
16 yards on the pickup. Tennessee first down, marching on their first possession. Marching through the air. Clausen may be checking off. He's got Fleming and Houston behind him. He's got 3 receivers, set 2 to the left. And they slide outside the tackle with Cedric Houston, and not a whole lot there before Vandy comes up and knocks him down. It's Bill Alford coming up to make the stop from corner. William Rebel is in now at fullback. in front of Houston. There's Cedric's numbers on the season. He has kind of quietly come along and been a very solid guy.
Got up to a really fast start and was hampered by injuries, and as you said in the Miami game, really started to show flashes of greatness again, and has played steady since.
Clausen in the pocket. That is man. Yes, touchdown to Tony Brown. 17-yard strike from Clausen to Brown in the back of the end zone. Almost bobbled it there, but he brought it in.
Did bobble it, but great concentration by Tony Brown and Tennessee. Great first drive. This is a great throw by Casey Clausen and a good job of keeping his eye on the football by Tony Brown.
Another look.
Another play action, draw the linebackers up, allow Tony Brown to get into the seam behind, and great catch.
James Wilhoit's kick is up, and it's good. And Vanderbilt takes the lead, or Tennessee takes the lead over Vanderbilt 7-0. Vanderbilt will now go on offense.
Casey Clausen picking up right where he left off in the Mississippi State game.
You're watching University of Tennessee College Football on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Well, Vanderbilt saw what they didn't want to see right there. That's Tennessee take the ball in their first possession and drive downfield and score on them. They had hoped that their defense could stand up and give them a spark here early, but this is a team that has shown a lot of spark this year when they have been behind, and they've been behind more often than not. But they climb back into ball game.
And you had to believe that Tennessee would start out this way after the game at Mississippi State, and the fact that Casey Clausen has a lot more freedom when he steps to the line. He has about 3 plays, and he decides what he wants to call once he's at the line of scrimmage. And knowing Casey, he's going to check to a pass at just about every time.
How good was he in that drive? 4 of 4 for 65 yards and a touchdown.
Like him or not, he's a winner, and he's second to Peyton Manning. I mean, he and Peyton Manning are the only quarterbacks in Tennessee history to win 30 ball games, so that says a lot about the kid.
Well, Smokey seemed to approve of the first drive. Ronald Hatcher drops back. James Wilhoit will be kicking off. His first kick to open this ball game was well into the end zone and not returnable. He gets this one a little shorter but very high, and Hatcher takes it on the 4-yard line. Finds a little bit of a crease, enough to get it across the 25 up to about the 27, where the Commodores will go into play 1st and 10. Brandon Johnson made the hit along with Jason Mitchell that time on the kick return. 23 yards.
One key play in this long drive by Tennessee, the throw and catch by Mark Jones, Casey Clausen and Mark Jones, sustaining the drive, and they come right back to Tony Brown. Casey Clausen threw to about 3 different receivers. You see his maturity, great throw, good concentration by Tony Brown. 7 points for the Vols.
Meanwhile, an off-tackle play by McKenzie, and it's good for about 4 yards. Robert Peace made the stop.
You have to believe for Vanderbilt to have a chance today, they're going to have to put the football in the air, and I think when they do that, John Chavis is going to put some pressure on Jay Cutler.
Right on the 30-yard line, so they need 7 yards to pick up a first down. Matthew Tant behind his quarterback, got some pressure, but got his throw off in the hands of his receiver, Eric Davis, and dropped. It's remarkable that he got it away because he was really under a rush.
Good pocket presence, as you said. He feels the pressure, is going to step up, and he throws this behind the receiver. You want him to catch that, but that's a difficult catch.
It was Jason Hall who put the pressure on him, by the way. One of the bright young stars here at Tennessee, or should be a big star before he leaves here. Cutler will go into the shotgun this time. He's got a 3-receiver set, 2 at the top of your screen. They get some pressure on him. He gets out of that. Now he's finally dropped at about the 36-yard line by Rashad Baker coming up from safety. Got 6 yards on the carry.
Rashad Baker and also Jabril Wilson there on the stop, and a good series by 2 good series by the Tennessee defense.
Kevin Simon in there also. So many of these Tennessee guys will be back next year. All of the linebackers, only Peace graduates. And the second linebackers, they do not like to be called second string, by the way. They insist they're 1A, and I think they are, as a matter of fact. Here's the punt, and Mark Jones will make the catch this time. There's the speed of Jones. Up to midfield and into Vanderbilt territory to the 48-yard line. Eric Byram saved the day for Vanderbilt.
Mark Jones has easily become a crowd favorite, Bob, just because he does everything. If he is around the football, then there's a play being made. Kid just playing awesome football, so valuable to this football team, and such a great person when you talk to him off the field.
A Romanesh punt was for 37 yards, and the return was for 25 yards. Kicking game is not a strong point with Vanderbilt by any stretch of the imagination. Ball is on the 48-yard line of the Commodores. Tennessee throwing in the flat. Out to Troy Fleming. Down the sideline near the marker. He got close to 10. Osemuji from his linebacker spot made the stop for Vanderbilt. Give him 9 yards. So it'll be 2nd and 1.
And Fleming is a nice safety valve for Casey Clausen. They clear out the 2 receivers and allow him to work one-on-one sometimes with the linebacker. And he's a kid that's a former tailback, so he's very versatile and really good when you get the ball in his hands on the outside.
Final game of the year for Vanderbilt. Tennessee's got one more to go. That's at Lexington next week. Puts it in the hands of his tailback. Trying to bounce outside. Good play by Vanderbilt. Cedric Houston is dropped by Dominic Morris, the cornerback, 6 foot 195 sophomore, who trailed him out there and made the stop. Wouldn't let him turn the corner. So it's still going to be just a little bit short. 2nd down and, it looks like maybe inches, but 3rd down coming up rather, and just inches to go.
Cedric Houston's going to bounce this outside and make the first tackler miss with a stiff arm, but Dominic Harris does a good job of bringing him down. Dominic Morris does a good job of bringing him down one-on-one.
Tennessee needs less than a yard for a first down. They give it to Cedric Houston. He spins around. He's going to have to fight for it. He's not going to get it. He's going to lose yardage.
And that'll bring the head coach's headset off real quick.
Lorenzo Parker made the stop. That was not a good move. You need inches. You can't bounce around there. You've just got to go straight ahead.
And unusual for Cedric Houston. You don't normally see him make this kind of spin move, which allowed him to lose yardage. Coach Fulmer was not happy with that move by Cedric Houston.
Ronald Hatcher will drop back to receive Dustin Colquitt's punt. Colquitt, one of the best, as we know, in America. One of the finalists for the Ray Guy Award, has had a sensational year, averaging about 46 yards per kick. And he puts it up there, and they're going to let it bounce, and it will go into the end zone. He's nailed a lot of them inside the 5 this year, but that wouldn't die for him there. It's a 40-yard punt.
And there you see.
Start your day with a cup of coffee and a little mayhem in the AM. Join in the crew from WXQXI AM 790, The Zone in Atlanta, for a live television simulcast of Atlanta's popular morning radio talk show. For a fresh alternative to traditional morning programming, catch Mayhem in the AM every weekday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, only on CSS, only on cable. Straight ahead, fumble! Matthew Tamp dropped the ball on the turf, and looks like Cutler, the quarterback, might have saved the day by recovery.
Good awareness by Jay Cutler of seeing the ball on the ground and getting the loose football. They go with a little shovel pass. Tennessee has 3 guys there defending it, and Vanderbilt lucky that they didn't lose that football.
Robert Peace for Tennessee right in the middle of all that action, but couldn't come up with it. Vanderbilt last in the SEC in scoring, but they did get that shot in the arm against Kentucky. Here's Cutler under some pressure, trying to get out of the pocket. Now heading for the sidelines, and will step out of bounds, and looks like he might have got enough for the first down. In fact, he got 10 yards. So Cutler there showing you that he is a very mobile quarterback. very talented runner in addition to being a very good passer.
As you said, he feels the pressure is going to step outside, but look at the speed of Justin Harrell. 6'3", 300 pounds, and Cutler just avoids the pressure of Justin Harrell.
So Vanderbilt with a first down and 10 situation, trailing Tennessee 7-0. Vols marched 65 yards for their touchdown through the air primarily. Here's Cutler taking to his tailback, throwing. It's incomplete. It was covered nicely. Vanderbilt wanted some interference, but Jason Allen did a good job that time of covering Eric Davis. Allen, what a year he has had, especially the second half of the year. It really started in the Alabama game when he started getting his confidence.
Great coverage by Jason Allen. Going to get the right hand in at the last moment and bat the ball away. And you said this kid's playing exceptionally well, and his confidence is so high. It's good to see.
They burned him a couple of times at Alabama, but then he came back to knock down the pass that counted the most. And since then, he's just been playing lights out football. There's a straight ahead play, picking up some positive yardage up to about the 37-yard line. Kevin Simon hits Norval McKenzie, but not until he had picked up 7 yards. Vanderbilt and Tennessee, long rivalry. Only Kentucky for Tennessee has been longer, and that's only 1 year longer. They'll be leaving next week with a 98 coming. So Vanderbilt now looks at a third down situation. They need to move to the 41 for a first down. Cutler stands up in the shotgun. Gets great pressure. Got his pass away. And it is incomplete to Brandon, intended for Brandon Smith. Kevin Burnett was all over him. So Vanderbilt will have to go into punt formation.
They're going to bring Jabari Greer on the pressure, and Mark Jones done a good job of getting his hands in, knocking the ball away.
Ramanesh will stand back at his 21-yard line, and Mark Jones will retreat to about the 29. His kick is away. Tennessee put some pressure on him. They've blocked 4 this year. It's not a real good kick, and Jones fields it and gets some pretty positive yardage across the 35 to about the 36-yard line, where the Volunteers will go into action. 34-yard punt, a 7-yard return for Tennessee by Mark Jones. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the South. For those of you watching on pay-per-view, for those of you watching that, we will have I think a very good feature on the Clausen brothers at halftime, and some other features for you as well. Tennessee up 7-0 in the first quarter on a, it's a postcard type day, I guess you could say, here in East Tennessee. 70 degrees when we started this ball game. No wind to speak of. Here's the pass from Clausen, too high to Fleming. Fleming couldn't reach up and pull it down. Trying to set up a little screen action on the side, Terrence. It looked good developing, but it didn't end up very good.
It looked really good, and Derek Tinsley was involved. They faked the reverse to Tinsley. Vanderbilt knows Tinsley's in the ball game. They're going to go with him, and this is a great play if Troy Fleming can get his hands on it. Casey, probably his worst throw of the day, and he's been on fire all day.
Jabari Davis is in a tailback right now. Tinsley goes in motion. They give it off to Jabari. He goes straight ahead up to the 40-yard line. And there he's knocked down by Osemeji, the outside linebacker. Got 4 yards on it. Tennessee has been, in the last couple of games, using 3 and 4 of their tailbacks. Coach McCorvey, the running back coach, trying to get each man just about equal time. So we should see Gerald Riggs at some point a little bit later here, after Jabari has had his action on the field. Cedric Houston, of course, was the starter. Might see some Corey Larkins in there too. Here's a long pass downfield. Wide open is Banks. Banks into Vanderbilt territory. Finally hit at about the 44-yard line. It covers 16 yards.
This is a great throw and catch by Casey Clausen and James Banks, but Clausen gets walloped by the pressure. You're going to see him just get taken out there on the end. Stands in, takes the hit, and makes a big throw to James Banks.
First down and 10 to go for Tennessee. They've had early success through the air. Got 3 receivers set this time. Pump fake. Now throws long. It's intended for Chris Hannon, but pretty well covered by Vanderbilt's Dominic Morris, who ran with him stride for stride. And Hannon, who had 3 touchdown catches last week against Mississippi State, could not break free.
And they tried a little trickery there, the pump and go, and Dominic Morris just plays it as solid as you could ever play it.
So now Tennessee looks at a 2nd down and 10 situation as we look at that again.
And Tennessee, in the Mississippi State game, opened up its playbook. You saw a lot of plays, a lot more creativity, a lot more throwing the football around, and they picked up here today.
2nd down and 10. Casey going to the air again. Once again, he pump fakes. He's got a man down there. Just led Corey Larkins about a yard too much, or it would have been a big, big play.
And Corey's talking to the referee about the chuck zone. I mean, Corey took a shot about around the 8-yard mark that really knocked him off his pattern, or he catches his football. The pump and go outside, Corey Larkins matched up with the corner, and if he doesn't get hit in the chest about 8 yards, he may catch that football.
So that brings up a big down, 3rd and 10, with the ball on the 43-yard line of Vanderbilt. Casey goes into the shotgun. Going to put it in the air. It's out of the pocket. Leads his man. Is it complete? Yes, it is, to C.J. Payton. We were hesitating. Did he come down in bounds? He did. Sean Dixon, backup cornerback on the left side, made the stop, but nice catch by C.J. Payton.
And we talked about the potential of this young wide receiver group, and you're starting to see them develop. Chris Hannon, C.J. Payton, James Banks, and this is a great throw and catch by C.J. Payton and Casey Clausen. Great job of getting not 1 but 2 feet down in bounds. Good concentration by the young wide receiver.
Covered 23 yards, 1st down and 10. Vandy jumped, but looks like they get back, no flag. Clausen stands up with a quick throw this time. Slant in, complete to Jones. Jones inside the 10-yard line before he is knocked down by Bill Alford. Tennessee kind of having their way through the air right now with Vanderbilt.
And you know, you can't say too many good things about Mark Jones, but the thing I like about Mark Jones is you hardly ever see Mark Jones go backwards when he catches the football. Everything with him is straight ahead, north and south.
13 yards, so we're down to a 1st and goal situation at the 7-yard line. Jabari Davis is the tailback. Fleming in front of him. Casey looks like he's checking off. Stands up. Got a quick throw. Almost intercepted. Dominic Morris. I don't know what Casey saw there, but whatever he saw, Morris saw it also.
Casey throws into double coverage. I think his matchup was at the bottom of the screen with C.J. Payton. He's going to go to his bread and butter, Mark Jones, and all kind of Vanderbilt players around that throw. Bad decision by Casey Clausen, one of the few we've seen him make.
Well, he almost broke a string there. He has thrown 133 passes without an interception. I think the record is 135 by Payton. Straight ahead, Jabari. The J-Train has reached the station.
And you can say this play is created by Tennessee's ability to throw the football. They go 3 wide, 4 wide, spread everybody out, and that opens up huge running lanes for Jabari Davis.
Another look.
Great blocking by Anthony Herrera. You see him pull in the gap there, Chavis Smith, and that's like practice.
Don Henderson will hold, and James Wilhoit will attempt to add the 14th point for Tennessee, and he does. Tennessee leading 14-0. One more look at Jabari Davis touchdown run.
They're going to pull Anthony Herrera and block down. You see him get a great block there, and Jabari Davis doesn't need much more to get in the end zone.
From ground level.
The J train from ground level. There's a runaway train. Nobody going to stop it.
So now Vanderbilt has fallen behind 14-0. They huddle around their coach Bobby Johnson, and a good shot of Jabari on the sidelines.
Had an opportunity on the road, Bob, to talk to Jabari's parents and grandmother, and they're just a wonderful group of people, and they go to just about every away ball game. They're there, and they're really supporting Jabari and this Tennessee football team.
Well, he is a good guy in addition to being a good runner. Of course, he returns. Cedric returns. Things are looking pretty good there. Gerald Riggs returns. All of their backs. Well, fullback, of course, Fleming is a senior, but the tailbacks do return. There's the scoring drive. 9 plays, 64 yards, and took 2:19 to get into the end zone. Davis on the 7-yard run. James Wilhoit will be kicking off. Ronald Hatcher will be the deep lone back for Vanderbilt, standing at about the 2-yard line. Wilhoit has had a good year. He's had 8 of his last 9 field goals after kind of a shaky start, but boy, he settled down nicely. And his kick, it is a boomer into the end zone, into the checkerboard, and no return. Hatcher wisely takes the knee, and Vanderbilt will go to work at the 20-yard line.
Both Wilhoit and Dustin Colquitt have been tremendous weapons for Tennessee this year. As you said, been very, very consistent.
Well, at one point we would have named Dustin Colquitt the MVP on this team, to be honest with you, long about mid-season, and he has been extremely important to them. Cutler and company going to work at the 20-yard line. Matthew Tatt is the running back behind him. A little over 2 minutes to go in quarter number 1. He gives it to Tatt, and Tennessee gives it right back. Ball stack him up. Robert Peace gives him 1 yard before they drop him. There's Peace from Louisiana. Came down to Tennessee and Arkansas, and Randy Sanders spent a lot of time with him on that last day and convinced him to come to Tennessee, and Vol fans are, well, they have fallen in love with Robert Peace because he's a guy who never complains and always comes to work and does his job.
And when Tennessee has had success stopping the run, Robert Peace has been involved tremendously.
What a hit. Shaken loose. Gabriel Wilson hit Lloyd with the tight end like a train. We talked about Gabriel Wilson at the top of the program today and said this man has played himself into a Sunday job. Take a look and you'll see why.
Folks, that's a hit only for mature audiences. Gabriel Wilson, as we talked about it, playing as solid as any DB that's ever played here at the University of Tennessee, and comes up with a big hit on that play.
Butler is now 1 of 6 passing the football. He has to pull it down, and he gets racked. Rashad Baker coming up from safety, stuck it to him after a 2-yard gain, and it's 3 and out.
And another tremendous job by John Chavis' defense. Want to mention Larry Slade, I think, Bob, has done an exceptional job with that Tennessee secondary.
I agree wholeheartedly.
They have gotten better week after week after week.
There's Rashad, showing no signs of the injury that sidelined him for about 3 games. Ramanesh will punt from his 10-yard line. Tennessee, not much pressure on him. They're going to field it and try to pick up some yardage. They do. Jones down the sideline. This is a foot race. He'll win it. Mark Jones, touchdown, Tennessee. Yards after a 34-yard punt. 58-yard romp by Mr. Do-Everything, Mark Jones. Wow.
Great return, and this is all set up by Mark Jones. Does a good job of catching the football and setting up his wall, and as we talked about, everything with him at north and south, avoided tackler and uses his speed. Great blocking downfield. Chris Ann is going to lead him in the end zone. Versatile Mark Jones. I played with a two-way player that I thought was an exceptional player in Carl Pickens, but Mark Jones is just as exceptional as Carl Pickens.
Well, During the replay there, Will Hoyt sent his extra point through the upright, so Tennessee's lead is 21-0. Well, you paid him a great compliment there.
I mean, think about
Carl Pickens was all world.
Carl Pickens was all world, but the value that Mark Jones brings to this football team as a wide receiver, as a DB, and as a kick return specialist is unbelievable.
Yeah, Carl, I don't think returned kicks, so...
He did, actually.
Well, he did, that's right.
Carl returned kicks, and the thing about Carl is Carl didn't want to play both ways.
And he would have been, a lot of people think he would have been a better pro defensive player.
And exactly. Mark Jones, this as a punt returner, this is textbook. Straight ahead, find your blockers, find your wall, and that'll lead you to the end zone.
Well, as we said, it's going to take 3 men to replace Mark Jones.
And I was kind of critical of Mark Jones at the beginning of the season because there was so much hype around this kid coming out of spring ball that he was going to be the leader in the wide receiver group, but he had to adjust to playing so much and being involved. I think he averages like 50 plays a game, but you see the ability, and it started to come on in the second half of the season, and I take my hat off to this kid.
You think he can play at the next level?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Special teams, I mean, that's the kind of kid, if you got a special teams, you want to build it around him.
Ronald Hatcher will be deep, and James Wilhoit, who's getting a pretty good workout here today, will be kicking off. Last time UT returned a punt for a touchdown was November 24th, 2001, and that was Stallworth against Vandy. Hatcher decides not to come out of the end zone, so it'll be out at the 20-yard line. First down and 10 to go for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt with a pretty young football team. I can't recall seeing a team where all of the starters were underclassmen.
No, and
not a senior out there on the starting units.
Bobby Johnson will build on that. He'll take this group of kids and they'll be better. They may not get to the 500 mark next year, but they'll win more ball games next year than they won this year.
Cutler goes into the shotgun, down 21-0. Gives it to his tailback, and he gets McKenzie a little bit of running room there before he is stopped by Rashad Baker. In fact, he got 8 yards on the carry, so it'll come up 2 yards shy of a first down. Another look.
Tennessee's defense all year has been a bend but don't break defense, and we've seen people amass yardage against them, and then when you get it to a certain point on the field, their defense becomes as good as any John Chavis defense that I can remember.
Going under center this time, Cutler with a quick handoff, and it's close. Matthew Tant got maybe 2 yards, and that's about all he needed. Kevin Simon came up to make the stop. It is enough for a first down, so the chains go downfield. Vanderbilt picks up a first down at the 30-yard line. There's assistant head coach and defensive coordinator Johnny Chavis, who's had another outstanding year, he and his staff. Tell you, a lot of credit goes, you mentioned Slade, a lot of credit goes to Dan Brooks also, because Brooks keeps losing tackles to the NFL, but he keeps finding some guys who can be in there and be warriors. That's the end of the quarter here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. Tennessee Volunteers 21, Vanderbilt Commodores nothing. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the South. Well, Terrence, that's about as complete a quarter as Tennessee can play, I think. They moved the ball when they needed to on the ground. Had a 7-yard burst for a touchdown there by Jabari. Very impressive, but really impressive through the air, and the defense really stood up. So a very complete one for Tennessee.
Very complete, and special team also made a huge impact in that first quarter. But Coach Fulmer said, you know what, in the Mississippi State game, we played as well offensively as we've played all season. We're starting to click on all cylinders. It's good to see. We just want to build on that, and I must say that they have.
Yeah, when you think about it, kicking game was good. Special teams was good, and everything just turned out to be quite nicely. Glad to have you with us today, wherever you're watching. Tennessee and Vanderbilt here on a perfect day. Wish you could be with us. It is beautiful in Knoxville, and it's beautiful right now if you're a Tennessee fan. Vanderbilt with their kind of backs to the wall now. Cutler throwing, got his pass out there. It is complete to Brancho, his tight end. It's good for a first down. That was a solid throw. 14 yards. Really showing his arm on that one.
Brancho had to catch this ball. He had so much zip on the ball that it almost knocked his shoulder pads off. He's getting some help from his teammate, but what a throw by Jay Cutler. And you see the ability of this young quarterback.
So Vanderbilt picks up a first down. Early second quarter in Knoxville. Final game of the year for Vandy. Tennessee with Kentucky remaining on the regular schedule. Here's the throw out too high and over the head of the intended receiver, Chris Young. Jabari Greer was out there with him, but neither man had a chance of catching that one.
John Chavis does a good job defensively of not allowing quarterbacks to get comfortable and get their feet set in the pocket. And Cutler has to do that to throw the ball well. And there, Tennessee brings the pressure off the corner and he rushes his throw.
Cutler now looking at a 2nd and 10. There's the total yard situation. 140 to 62, Tennessee favor. 3 receivers. One may have left early. And it's a stop at the line of scrimmage by McKenzie and nowhere to go, but I think a receiver jumped the gun for Vanderbilt. Norval McKenzie carrying and Kevin Burnett hitting him, and Vanderbilt did jump.
And it's a Vanderbilt player that's slow to get up.
Kowaliski, left guard, 282-pound junior who's kind of tall for a guard. He's then 6'7", and he is coming off the field, but it doesn't appear to be very
illegal
serious.
motions on the offense. It's declined. Be 3rd down.
As you heard the referee say, Tennessee turns down the penalty, so it brings up a 3rd and rather long 9 yards. Referee Jay Vines made that call. Here is Cutler with a last-second pitch, and whistles are going to stop this one. Illegal motion, it appears, against Vanderbilt. McKenzie with the ball on the pitch, but the whistle stops it in its tracks.
Dead ball. Moving to the offensive line against White. 5 yards. Remains 3rd down.
They will step this one off, and so it'll be a 5-yard situation. We'll see if we can detect it right here. There you see it.
I think the right guard is going to be guilty of getting a head start.
He was pulling a little too quick.
They'll call that one every time, you hope.
14 minutes remaining in the first half. Vanderbilt trailing Tennessee 21-0. Cutler in the shotgun. Got pressure. Got out of it one time, but not the second. The orange maze swarms him. Greg Jones. Gabriel Wilson -1 on that play.
And
so Vanderbilt turns it over. Pressure
bumped by Jabari Greer. You see the speed of Jabari Greer. The track star just blew by Jay Cutler.
Commodores will have to put it back into the hands of the Tennessee offense on a 4th and 15 situation. Mark Jones, who returned the last one all the way. Tennessee almost got a hand on that one. Here's Jones. Got some yardage again. Up to the 40, and a good return to the 42-yard line. Wow. What a day for Jones. 41-yard punt, 23 yards on the return. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. The 13-13 mark here in the first half. Tennessee up 21-0. Looking pretty complete right now. Passing, running, defense, special teams. They're kind of got it all in a good swing right now. Well, he has passed Peyton Manning now for consecutive attempts without an interception, 137.
And that's one of the areas that you've seen Casey improve in early in his career. He likes to call himself a gunslinger. He likes it when the game is on the line and he can be back in the pocket throwing passes around. Early in his career, Bob, I thought he forces some balls and makes some bad decisions. This year, we have not seen that from Casey Clausen.
Got another new back in there. Corey Larkins has come into the ball game now. Catch gridiron action next Saturday on CSS as the UAB Blazers battle the Houston Cougars live at 5 Eastern. The Conference USA Cougars look to strengthen their case for a bowl bid, while the Blazers aim to close out the season with a win. Live coverage kicks off at 5 Eastern next Saturday on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. They fake to Larkins, and Casey rolls back. Gonna throw long. Got a man wide open down the sidelines. It is Corey Larkins out of the backfield, and he's finally stopped, but what a great play. Flag is down at the end of the play. 43 yards for number 23, Corey Larkins.
May have been some extra stuff after the play that drew the flag.
Personal foul going against Tennessee. So that will negate part of that great play.
And no matter how well you're playing, that's always going to upset the head coach. This is a play we saw earlier where Corey Larkins, I said he got jammed around the 8-yard mark. They come back with it, and he is wide open.
Foul, late hit against the offense. 15 yards from the end of the run. It'll be a first down.
I'm trying to see where the late hit's going to come in.
That might have been it right there.
With Victor McClure.
McClure, the tight end. But
I don't agree with that.
Kind of looked like a block.
I think he's just finishing a block. They may have been locked up for a while.
Well, it pulls the ball back to the 32-yard line, where it will be first down and 10 to go on the 15-yard penalty. Larkins is at tailback. Rebel is now at fullback. Rebel had his first touchdown last week against Mississippi State. Here's the reverse to Tinsley, and Tinsley gets inside the 30 before Javon Hay made the stop. There's Tinsley, who was sort of discovered along about the middle of the season, as the way Tennessee fans like to put it, and actually had a few little nicks and bruises early on, and they didn't get him involved into the offense until about midseason, and then he's been very productive.
And had to make the adjustment from running back to wide receiver, and that's difficult if you've never played the wide receiver position to do that.
Pass out complete to Jason Swain. No, they're saying he's out of bounds. Did not have a foot in bounds. There's the big youngster from Alabama, Jason Swain, a promising freshman. Let's take a look. 1 foot in, and probably a good call.
I'm not sure he didn't have his left foot down before his. I think they're looking at his right foot, but I'm not sure he didn't have his left foot already on the turf.
I was looking at the right foot, which was on the line, but you may be right. The left foot might have been dragging, but the official didn't see it that way, and we don't have instant replay. So now it becomes a 3rd and 7. And see what Randy Sanders has sent into Casey Clausen. Probably not this play, but he's going to run it anyway, and stretch down there. He may have it. Matthew Clay made the stop, but I think the old warhorse got it. One more time for the good times for Casey, winding up his home career. Of course, he's got yet Kentucky and a bowl game somewhere down the line, but.
And you got to know the competitor that Casey is. That he wasn't just going to hook slide a couple of yards away from the first down. He was going to go for the whole thing.
First down and 10 to go for Tennessee. The ball on the 21-yard line of Vanderbilt. Gerald Riggs becomes the 4th Tennessee tailback to see action here in the first half. Riggs, number 31. Trying to get outside. Not much running room there. Vanderbilt strung it out pretty well. Bill Alford was the man who made the initial hit over there. -1, as a matter of fact, so it would be 2nd and 11.
For this play to work, your wide receiver on the outside, who was Tony Brown, has to get a good block on the corner. And this is a slow developing play, the sweep. And Tony Brown didn't do a good job of locking up with the corner. Actually, the DB drove him about 3 yards back into the backfield. And that'll stop that play every time.
3 receivers set, 2 of them to the right. High backfield, they fake it to the tailback. Throw down the middle, wide open was Troy Fleming, and just a little too high by Casey, who's kind of disgusted with himself because he had a sure 7 or 6 right there. There's Fleming, who's got good hands, but couldn't quite pull it in. Another look at it.
He's wide open. Casey knows it, and this ball just floats on him a little bit. If you're Clausen, you really want to put that ball on Troy Fleming's numbers. Give him an opportunity to do something with it when he catches it.
Tennessee's kind of famous for coming back with a play. Sometimes we saw a fade pattern twice last week. One right after the other. This time the pass is knocked down. Good defense that time by Vanderbilt on C.J. Payton. Lorenzo Parker was the man over there. Parker covered him quite well.
Payton going to drive to the yard marker, and because he's at the yard marker, he has to set up. Normally, in a situation like that with good coverage, you want the wide receiver to come back and meet the football. He couldn't do it and pick up the first down.
Well, it brings in Will Hoyt. The field goal here will be 39 yards. Henderson will hold a 39-yard effort. There is no wind. And the kick is up there, and it is good. So Will Hoyt continues his outstanding kicking here in the second half of the season. The youngster from Hendersonville, Tennessee. 24-0 Tennessee with 11:03 remaining in the first half. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. A great shot there of the crowd and the blue skies in East Tennessee. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day. 70 degrees when we kicked off here today, and you see some of the fans who come for the final home game of the season. Many will travel up the road, which is not that long a drive, to Lexington for the season ender. Boy, if we get this kind of weather in Lexington, it'll be one of the great stories of all time. 9 times out of 10 I've ever been in Lexington, it's been bad. Cold, snowing, raining, and that's for basketball and football.
If we get this kind of weather in Lexington, we may want to check before we walk out of the hotel. Normally really bad weather when you go to Lexington.
Well, we may get lucky. I do remember one game up there in recent years when we had some sunshine and reasonable weather. There's the Tennessee drive. 8 plays, 35-209. Ronald Hatcher will drop back at the goal line, and Will Hoyt will kick off. Bowl scouts are here, we know, from the Capital One Bowl, which is what used to be the Citrus Bowl down in Orlando. And also scouts are here from the Outback Bowl, which will be played in Tampa. Should Tennessee not get to the championship game in the conference, they could wind up in one of those, probably against a Big Ten foe. But other things could happen. Here's another Will Hoyt boomer into the end zone, and again the decision by Hatcher is wise to not bring it out of there.
Tennessee offensively have been on track today, playing as well as they played all year. They're off to a fast start. Casey Clausen finds Tony Brown. They go up 7-0. The J Train going to find some tracks. He's in the end zone, 14-0. And Mark Jones, Mr. Do-It-All, sets up the punt really well, shows his versatility, his speed. He's going to end up in the end zone. 21-0 first quarter. And as we said, it's been a complete game for Tennessee. James Will Hoyt caps off a nice drive with the field goal.
Back to the live action, and Vanderbilt with nowhere to go. All over the place is Tony McDaniel in Jay Cutler's face. Tony McDaniel, by the way, is a freshman. He's 6'7", he's 290. He's the future.
You know, you talk about what Tennessee has been accustomed to having at that defensive tackle spot. Names like John Henderson and Albert Haynesworth. And you look at these two guys, Bob, and you kind of start to feel like in Justin Harrell and Tony McDaniel that those kids could become those kind of players.
They will be just as big. They're huge kids right now as freshmen, and they will grow in Johnny Long's weight room. Here's Cutler throwing. Receiver smacked immediately at the 20-yard line. Curtis Brancho got 3 yards before he is knocked down. Jason Mitchell, backup or 1A linebacker, comes in to make the hit.
And talking about the linebackers, these linebackers are going to love the fact that they have those two kids next year that are going to be able to make a pile. And you bring this group of linebackers back that have unbelievable potential, this defense is going to be special, I think, next year.
Daniel Brooks, one of those heralded guys who came in as a linebacker, looks like a wind-up at defensive end because he is growing, but they're still going to be real deep at linebacker next year and real talented. Cutler in the shotgun. Got time to throw. Tennessee defended it well. Eric Davis And Jason Allen all over him. Jason Allen just has developed into a outstanding cornerback. Now, I say cornerback, he will be a safety next year. Larry Slade says that's where his natural position is.
Probably plays safety, shows his versatility. Good defense there. Teams have gone after Jason Allen this year because they wanted to stay away from the veteran Jabari Greer, but Jason Allen playing as well as Jabari Greer, and I think on both sides of the field, they have 2 shutdown corners. On both sides of the field, Tennessee does.
Vanderbilt's 6th punt of the half. Ramanish gets it away, and Mark Jones, he's been deadly back there, fields it. Not much room this time, but still a positive yardage. Lloyd, the tight end, was downfield to make the stop of Mark Jones. Tennessee leading 24-0, dominating thus far in this ball game, offensively and defensively. 41-yard punt, a 7-yard return. And Clausen and company ready to go to work.
Philip Fulmer was really complimentary about Casey Clausen. Likes this kid, likes everything about him, but he said, you know, his pocket presence is probably as good as any quarterback that's played here for me at the University of Tennessee. Feels the pressure really well.
3 receivers in the pattern this time. Clausen throws over on the sideline, complete. Down to the 40-yard line.
Brett Smith,
who is a youngster who has seen very little action this year, but another great promising young man out of Arkansas. 16-yard pickup. Actually, he came in late and had a groin injury at one point, kind of slowed him down.
And had the big play at Florida, and as you said, kind of disappeared after that, and that'll happen with a true freshman wide receiver. I think he had a hand injury that hampered his development, but boy, these wide receivers are. And
remember Meacham, who came in with the highest credentials of all of them, hasn't played any of this season. So they look to be in great shape there next year. Cedric Houston still looking for anybody for help, still fighting. Finally gets back with a little bit of yardage and a whole lot of running.
And Philip Fulmer standing over there looking at Cedric Houston saying, okay, is this my running back?
Simoji finally chased him down. They both have to be totally out of breath right now.
Unusual. There's nothing there unusual for Cedric Houston to try to reverse his field, see something there and try to pick it up a block from his quarterback, who's like, I don't like this spot that I'm in.
Cedric trying to imitate Mark Jones here with this bit of running. And it results in a 2nd down and 11 after all of that. Casey fires long. He's got a man there. It's touchdown. Chris Hannon, 39 yards. Wow. Hannon with his 4th touchdown catch in the last 2 games, and this one's not over yet. 3 against Mississippi State. A big guy, 6'4", on his way to, I think, a great career in Tennessee. In fact, Kippy Brown, an old friend and coach of yours, a great receiver coach, had some high praise for him, did he not, Terrence?
He said, you know, out of all the wide receivers on this staff, this guy will play on Sunday. He has all the tools to be a great wide receiver, and you're starting to see him develop.
Incredible thing about him was he was not a receiver in high school. He was a quarterback and had to come in and learn the position, but such a good athlete. He's such a good athlete, they're going to take a look at him more and more as the season, maybe in this game even, and maybe the next game, as a kick returner. Vanderbilt has a player down, and that's Dominic Morris. The shame that is, first of all, that he's injured, but he's a very key man in their defense, and has played pretty well here in the first half, as a matter of fact. 8:03 remaining in the first half. Tennessee is leading in this ball game 30-0 with the extra point coming up.
And looks like they're working on his left knee.
There he is. Dominic Morris, who's a 6', 195-pound sophomore. And indications would be that his day might be over. Getting some help to the sidelines. Now we'll have the extra point. Henderson will hold, and Will Hoyt will attempt yet another extra point here today. Thrown in there also is a 39-yard field goal he's had today. This one is up there, and it is good. And Tennessee stretches the lead to 31-0 with 8 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Let's take some more looks at the touchdown.
Man coverage there. He's going to get the DB in his back pedal, and DB will lose every time. Great concentration, great throw. End result is a touchdown. We made the joke about Cedric Houston's run. Casey Clausen goes back to Philip Foreman and says, you know what, Coach? You want a touchdown? Let's just throw the football. Great concentration, great catch by Chris Hannon. I think we're going to see a bright future from this kid.
6'4", so he actually could grow another inch, and he will grow some more in the weight room. He's already a pretty strong kid. There he is. Good look at him. And he's going to be, and he is a big-time player. Scoring drive. Didn't take him long. 54 out of 3 plays, and took only a minute 22 to get to the checkerboard. And,
you know, we've talked about Tennessee. Who are they going to have at quarterback next year? I know if I'm a high school senior out there and I see this group of wide receivers and their ability, I may want to come play at the University of Tennessee.
Well, there are a lot of prospects here today, by the way. Some big names on the recruiting list are here watching, and they are being impressed right now.
And they've got some guys that can really flat out catch the football and do something with it after they catch it.
There's some quarterbacks here and some big linemen, too. I would think defensive linemen would be awfully high on their list. You always look at a running back and defensive back. Pretty good shape at linebacker, but if there's a great one out there, go get him. Tight end types they will take a look at, too. Into the end zone once again. This time Hatcher decides to bring it out of there, and he's got a good run going all the way up to about the 29-yard line. C.J. Payton, wide receiver and a member of the special teams, runs him down, but it's 29 yards where Vanderbilt will put it into play. Jay Cutler comes out, big sophomore, who just a week ago was the SEC Offensive Player of the Week for his performance against Kentucky. Threw 4 touchdowns and ran for over 100 yards.
And into the losing streak, the conference losing streak that Vanderbilt has been carrying on his shoulders, and allowed the fans to tear down the goalpost, but just hasn't been able to get on track here in this ball game today.
Cutler going to throw long. Incomplete.
Great defense by Jason Allen. They're going to take a shot downfield. Jay Cutler and Jason Allen playing, as you said, lights out, is going to have no part of that. Great coverage by Jason Allen.
Another look.
Cutler on the run, doesn't get his feet set, and therefore doesn't get a lot on this football. DB in good position to make the play.
Second down and 10 to go. Vanderbilt pretty much has got to go through the air now. Down 31-0. Cutler escapes the pressure and throws complete at the 45 to the 47 goes Brendan Smith, wide receiver.
Complete to Smith, tackle John.
And John Chavis stunts. They bring Constantine Richmond inside. You're going to see Constantine Richmond come into your picture right there inside, forcing Cutler outside, and does a good job of getting his shoulders turned and throws a rocket.
Well, it's 16 yards. Corey Campbell is the man who finally brought him down.
And John Chavis still coaching. Tennessee up 31-0. He's coaching like it's 0-0.
Vanderbilt with one of their rare first downs here in the first half. Cutler got a little time, throws on the short route, and receiver Eric Davis fell down, but needs a little bit anyway. 2 yards to be exact. 6:53 remaining in the first half. Another look.
Good protection, looking for the little drop-off route and not able to keep his feet.
There's your first down situation. Tennessee 10-5, which doesn't really tell you how well they have dominated this first half. Cutler goes into the shotgun. 3 receivers set. One of them comes in motion toward the line of scrimmage. They fire out here. It's intercepted. Down to the 40. 30. Matt Jones 10. Inside
today. You asked me why I compared Mark Jones to Carl Pickens.
You made a great comparison.
And I won't say anymore.
He's returned a kick. He's caught passes. And now 51 yards on a pass interception.
Mark Jones' father said he envisioned his kid when he came to University of Tennessee challenging for the Heisman Trophy.
Well, if he had another year, unfortunately, he's playing his final game at Neyland Stadium.
5'9", 185, and you asked me why I thought he would play on Sunday, because this kid is fearless and as tough as nails. And when he touches the football, things just seem to happen.
Jabari Davis is your tailback now for Tennessee as their goal to goal at the 7. And it is Jabari down to the 5 before he's finally driven down by a host of people headed up by Javon Hay. 2 yards. Randy Sanders calling the shots from the sidelines. He came down out of the booth a couple of years ago, as did Johnny Chavis. Both coordinators work from the sidelines and both like it and intend to stay there. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 5-yard line. They stick to the ground game, driving down inside at the 5-yard line. Close to it is Jabari Davis. Osemidji made the stop, but he's got 4 yards, so a yard to go for Pater.
And I think that's what you get with this group of Tennessee running backs, is each one has something that they're so good at. I really like Jabari Davis in between the tackles, although he's shown us that he can break the long run.
Vanderbilt's defense has been pretty decent against the pass, but it's being riddled today. Double tight ends, Jabari Davis, we figure up and over. Well, it's outside and not over. Not over the goal line. So now what do? You come up on 4th, you're leading 31-0.
And I'm surprised they even have to think about it.
Yeah. I don't see Will Hoyt.
I mean, they're studying it like, and they're going to call a timeout.
They're going into
timeout. Tennessee.
Now
that's the first timeout of the first half.
They will talk about it a little bit, but they will go for it, it appears. They will not go for the field goal. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Tennessee 31-0, 4th down. Surprising a little bit. Normally the play there on the goal line is to just try to jump over the line, which James Littleman Stewart sort of set a tradition here at Tennessee of doing a few years ago. Jabari has been the short yardage guy, but he tried to kind of bounce a little bit outside of his tackle there, and it didn't work. And so it's a 4th down, but leading 31-0, I would think Tennessee would go for it. They did call a timeout to discuss it. The official attendance today, and these would be tickets sold, 100,496. And the people who are sitting in the sunshine might actually get a little burned today. Can you believe that? In November, we're probably right around 72 degrees right now. We started at 70. Just a very light wind, not a cloud up there. And so Tennessee goes for it. Jabari Davis is the tailback.
And Derek Tinsley is the wide receiver. They have run the reverse with Derek Tinsley from this same set. Also thrown to Troy Fleming in the flat.
I say they just go straight ahead, and they do. Touchdown on the steep by Clausen. Tennessee center and guards probably said, give him the ball. Let's get this thing done right here. And right behind Scott Wells, his big center, he drove it into the end zone. So Tennessee's lead is 37-0 with Will Hoyt. One more time today. James' right leg is getting a real good workout today. Sets it, kicks it, hits it. Tennessee runs out 38-0 with 4:20 to go in the first half. Came in a 21-point favorite today. A couple of more looks at the TD.
Good push up front by Scott Wells and Chavis Smith and Anthony Herrera, the two guards. And as you said, That's an easy way to do it. Not a lot of error when you just take it from the center of the quarterback to the end zone.
Casey wrestling around down there.
Look at him, Casey.
Dixie's the Rock.
You can do that when you got about 900 pounds of offensive linemen surrounding you, leading the way.
There's your scoring drive. 4 plays after the great interception by Mark Jones and the return. A short distance to go. Minute 52. Tennessee scoring just about every way you can score right now. Special teams, interception setting up another, field goals, running, passing. Pretty complete performance right here. And there's very happy coach.
And
Where'd you get that hat?
Some unusual fans, you know. It takes all kinds.
I like that hat. It's a little warm today for that. That's a cold weather. That's a Lexington type headgear right there. All right, it's time now for another Will Hoyt kickoff. Once again, Ronald Hatcher will be standing at the goal line for Vanderbilt. Will Hoyt gets a lot of foot into it, a whole lot. Right to the back of the checkerboard, and Hatcher has no choice. Let's take a look, Terrence, at Mr. Mark Jones in action today.
Mr. Do-It-All for Tennessee. Gets Tennessee started with a great catch on the concentration to sustain a drive. Going to take this one back all the way on the punt return. And on defense, great awareness on the interception that sets up Tennessee's last touchdown. My vote for MVP of the football team and all conference.
Inside handoff this time to Matthew Tant, and nothing doing there. Tennessee's defense waiting and knocks him down at the line. There's Mark on the sideline.
Mark played such a role in this football team, he doesn't even take his helmet off. Takes it off for a little while. I got to get it back on. They're going to put me in a ball game.
Well, they will. Actually, about a half-a-yard loss on that play, so it becomes a second down and a little closer to 11 than 10 now. Cutler with a 2-receiver set, one on each side. Fires out there, and the intended receiver just simply Hatcher fell down.
I'm not sure he didn't get tripped by the referee.
He might have. I'm just trying to find an excuse for him. But
I think he may have gotten his feet tangled up with the ref.
Concerned Bobby Johnson, the head coach, looks on.
Concerned, stunned. Of course, after the win versus Kentucky, you would think his football team would come in and play better. They just haven't played well here in the first half.
Couple that with Tennessee playing extremely well. Cutler goes into the shotgun, keeps 2 men in for protection. Tennessee blows in there, almost got him, and did force him to throw a bad throw. Marlon White was the intended receiver, but Tennessee had men in orange shooting right by him. Jason Mitchell, one of them.
One of those 1A linebackers, as you call them, just blows by Jay Cutler.
There's a happy guy, Johnny Chavis. Take another look and you'll see the pressure.
You can see the pressure there, but Jason Mitchell, he does a good job avoiding it. Cannot avoid the pressure from Paris Harrelson.
Tinsley will await the punt. And Tinsley is giving Mark Jones a little bit of a rest right here. Tennessee blew in there, knocked him down. We'll get a flag. And there'll be a flag, I think, on the other end of it, too.
And I think that's going to be one of those all-academic seniors, Dustin Ishii, that we talked about at the beginning of the game, guilty of the roughing the kicker.
And there's a flag back where the punt was received, and that may have been interfering with the receiver. So we'll have to get the referee to unravel all of this for us. We've got flags down about 50 yards apart. Yeah, a little hot at Dusty, but hey, Dusty's a senior. Come on. Let him have his moment here.
You know, as a senior, you know this kid is probably, this is his last football game here at Neyland State.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Gets the receiving team. Got a kick-catch interference. Gets the kicking team. Those will all set. The ball game will be replayed.
Tough break for Vanderbilt, because had they not committed the foul.
And a good break for Dustin Ishii.
Got Ishii off of the hook. Here's the roughing right here, and it's pretty obvious. They hit him pretty hard.
But you know he wanted to block that punt. And he was so close, he just went after it, guilty of the roughing the kicker.
Well, bottom line is offsetting penalties, so we just do it all over again. Tinsley again is the man who's receiving, replacing Mark Jones, who's had a career day back there. This is not a great kick, and Tinsley comes over and it is out of bounds. He caught it, but it was out of bounds. So Vanderbilt goes back on defense, Tennessee back on offense, and it's been all Tennessee in the first half, and we've still got 3 minutes to go. Domination by the Volunteers, 38-0. The punt was 34 yards and no return. Tennessee should, if this continues, play virtually everybody here today. In fact, they've already gotten down to actually a walk-on who was involved in a penalty there a moment ago. Casey back to throw. Wants to go downtown, and it's going to be intercepted, intended for Corey Larkins. And it was picked off by Bill Alford. Larkins was there. Casey's pass just a little too short.
Corey Larkins, one of the fastest players on the team, does a good job of getting about 3 steps behind the defensive back. But as you said, the ball is thrown short by Casey Claus, and then the end result is an interception. But Larkins is well behind the defensive back. And Corey Larkins shows his inexperience as a wide receiver. What you would like to see him do there is break that play up.
All right, the crowd roaring for some defense here. Ball is on the 2-yard line. Vanderbilt down 38-0. Got 98 yards of real estate in front of them. Let's see what Cutler calls. A quarterback sneak. Maybe 2. 2 minutes, 42 seconds remaining. For those of you watching on pay-per-view, we have some interesting features coming up for you at halftime. We hope you'll stay with us for that, including a special on the Clausen brothers. By the way, there are 2 of them on campus at Tennessee, but there's a 3rd one that could wind up here someday. Total attendance for the season, 735,000. Flag is down on this play.
Tennessee's pointing at Vanderbilt. Justin Harrell jumped into the neutral zone, but I think he was able to get back. And then the right guard for Vanderbilt may have moved.
Jay Vines will tell us.
Ball start. Gets the offense. Moving to the offensive line. Has the distance to go. Repeat the down.
You were right, Terrence. He got back. Vanderbilt then committed the foul.
See Justin Harrell on the right side of the screen there, and he's going to get back, and then the right guard flinches because of his movement.
Second down and 10 yards to go with that penalty. They give it to the tailback, and Tennessee steps in. Norval McKenzie didn't gain an inch. Well, maybe an inch. Justin Harrell. Harrell is 300 pounds. He's 6'4", and he is a freshman. Boy, when they recruited him, they had an idea he was going to be special somewhere down the line, and I think he will be. 3rd down.
Timeout. Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt calls a timeout with a minute 32 to go and down 38-0. You're watching CSS, your source for sports. Throughout the... Well, a good shot of Big Nealon, and the skybox is here on a glorious November day as we head toward the holiday week. Vanderbilt with their back to the wall, a minute 32 to go in the first half. 3rd down and 9 yards in the shotgun. We've got motion.
And the penalty may have done Vanderbilt a favor.
Dead ball. Ball start. Gets the offense. Moving to the offensive line.
Once again,
goal remains third down.
Vanderbilt, this is twice down here they have committed a motion penalty with their back to the wall. By the way, Casey Clausen's string of consecutive passes without an interception ended at 143. The old record was 132, held by the great Peyton Manning.
And this is unusual for Vanderbilt. They're the least penalized team in the league. Coming into this game, they've only been penalized 54 times. I think the crowd noise in the end zone has something to do with the last two penalties.
A little bit shook up down there and having some trouble now. They just try quarterback sneak with Cutler just to get a little room there. Jabari Greer came up to put the stop on him. He got a couple of yards, so it gives a little bit of help to his kicker. 4th down and 8 yards to go. Derek Tinsley will drop into receiving position. Aramamesh will stand at the back of his end zone.
Tennessee stands in up with great field position. Punter hasn't had a good day today, and Derek Tinsley probably going to get in a situation to get a good return.
Here's the kick. Flag goes down. It's a short kick. Going to die at about the 40-yard line, but there's a flag down at the 5-yard line. I don't know if it's against Vanderbilt. If Tennessee would even make them kick it again, they might. Whatever it is,
Disregard the flag. There were 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Disregard the flag.
Just a little fun thing. Drop a flag on a nice day, just to see if everybody's watching. Get the official a little attention there. Disregard was the key word there. So, right on the 40-yard line, Tennessee Vols will put it in play with 43 seconds remaining in the first half. Last interception was Tennessee's first turnover in the last 16 quarters, so they have had a great string in that area. Here's the pass. It is caught by Jason Swain.
Pass complete to Jason Swain.
The same.
15 yards, and there's a big kid you were talking about, Terrence, who's got the good hands and he's got the size.
And this is the same play we saw earlier where it was controversial as to whether or not he got his feet down in bounds. Same throw. This time he says, no question.
Stops the clock at 34 seconds. Clausen's got 3 receivers in the pattern. 2 are here at the bottom of your screen, and he may be checking off. Vanderbilt hadn't come after him or had much success. They do come this time. He throws it to the end zone away from everybody. He had some pressure that time. That's the first real solid pressure just about that Vanderbilt has been able to get on him, sent somebody up the gap that time and made him throw it away.
Vanderbilt able to get pressure on Clausen, and Philip Fulmer talking to James Banks because James can't get the free release. For this play to be effective, you need James Banks to get off of the DB with the free release, and he gets jammed up. And he's kind of disappeared over the last several ball games.
Clausen's throwing to a spot really there.
Really, exactly.
Gives his numbers, and they're good. Takes the handoff, got a little time, throws it, a little too much on that one. Tennessee had 2 receivers in the neighborhood. Chris Hannon and Derek Tinsley were both down there, which kind of leads you to believe one of them might not have should have been there.
I think initially he was looking for Hannon, and his secondary receiver was Derek Tinsley running down the middle of the field. He goes to him.
Tinsley just kept running, so he was in the right pattern there. 20 seconds to go before halftime here in Knoxville on a great day, and a great day for the Orange, leading 38-0. Looking awesome in just about every facet of the game today. Now they're beginning to substitute a lot of people in there, but they've still got Casey at quarterback. And he throws incomplete, intended for Chris Hannon, trying to use his 6'4" height. Vanderbilt played it pretty well that time. Kalishi Ohanajay was the defender for Vanderbilt.
One-on-one matchup outside with Chris Hannon. And Lorenzo Parker going to, at the last moment, break up the pass.
Here comes a field goal attempt, this time with 41 yards with 14 seconds remaining in the first half. Will Hoyt's kick. Yes, sirree, right down the pike. 41 yards. He has just become deadly accurate here in the second half of the season. Sophomore from Hendersonville, and going to get only better. His kickoffs have been tremendous too, into the end zone, almost all of them today. So Tennessee runs out front 41-0 with 7 seconds to go in the first half. Can you say domination?
We're going to have to get Tom Mattingly here to do a little research for us and find out when's the last time Tennessee scored 41 points and a half.
Very well might have been against Vanderbilt.
Good grief.
They had some of those games in the DiNardo era, but there have also been some pretty close ones. In fact, you played against Vanderbilt when you had to come from behind, when you had a much better team, but had to fight from behind.
In 1987, they jumped out on us 21-0, and I think we won that ball game 35-28.
All right, Vanderbilt will get a chance for one more touch here in the first half. Pride of the Southland Band poised down on the field to entertain the folks here at halftime.
I correct Tom Mattingly just correct me. We won that ball game 38-35.
He's a historian.
Well,
that Mattingly boy is all over the place.
And I've been hit on the head a lot, Bob. Since 1987.
Helmets weren't as good then.
No.
You were good, but the helmet wasn't as good. Terrence was a heck of a receiver. He was Tennessee knows. Great receiver. Good kick return man, too. Ball bounces down, taken on the 2-yard line by Hatcher. Trying to find a little crease there, and it's not there. And that will end the first half. Gerald Riggs downfield defensively. So the first half ends here at Neyland Stadium with the Tennessee Volunteers in complete control, 41-0, and just absolutely outstanding in every phase. Kicking game, special teams, running, passing. They had the whole thing going for them here in the first half of play. All right, we're ready for the second half of play. Vanderbilt's season final here. Tennessee will travel to Lexington, Kentucky for, well, it's the oldest rivalry for the Vols. They have been meeting, I believe this is the 98th time when they meet next Saturday in Lexington, Kentucky. And who knows how that game will turn out, because Kentucky's been one of those teams that has looked just fabulous, and then they've looked not so good. We do know this. Tennessee brings out the best in them.
You're right, and this is a Kentucky team that was beaten last week by Vanderbilt, but was maybe one play away from beating the Florida Gators. So who knows what's going to show up, and on any given Saturday, anything is possible, especially this year in college football.
We do know that J-Load is a load at quarterback, and we do know they have one of the greatest kick returners in the nation in Abney. And they've got some pretty decent running backs, so it'll be a challenge. But right now we've got a second half to deal with. The Vanderbilt Commodores, Tennessee Volunteers trying to get themselves in a position, well, just have to play it out here with the BCS situation. All they can do is win and then hope somebody else helps them. They could get to the championship game, and they could play themselves into one of the big bowls. We'll see. All right. Tennessee receiving to start the second half of play, and fielding the ball at the 7-yard line is Larkins. Larkins across the 20 to maybe the 23 before he's driven to the earth, and at that point Tennessee goes into first down 10 situation, but we have 2 flags down, so let's hold everything. 2 flags have been dropped here about the 25 and the 27-yard line. Holding is going to go against Tennessee. So it'll be marched off, and Tennessee will take it a little further downfield than they anticipated.
Holding on the receiving team. 10 yards to the end of the run. Be first down.
They have been pretty good in this department, Terrence, for the past 2 or 3 ball games, and not drawing too many penalties. They did do that a little too frequently in the first half of the season.
They have been good in 2 categories, not turning the football over, and like you said, not getting a lot of penalties that beat you. And today we've seen Casey throw an interception, and Tennessee guilty of a couple of penalties here early in this ball game.
He has hit 9 different receivers today. This time, though, he hands off to his tailback, Jabari Davis, and he gets up across the line of scrimmage and forward for 2 or 3 more before Osemuji and Harrison make the stop. Actually, let's give him 6 yards. Make it 2nd down and 4. Casey Clausen brings his team to the line with 3 receivers set. His favorite formation. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Got 2 backs in. Gets off to his tailback. Jabari's looking for a bouncing room, and it's just not there. He's covered quite nicely by Lorenzo Parker. Played that one real good for Vanderbilt. And big number 34 goes down. Vanderbilt's got a guy getting up slowly, but he does seem to be okay. It is Javon Hay, who has probably been their best defender in the past few ball games. There he is on the sideline in some pain.
May have gotten a stinger, and that shoulder just goes numb on you, and they'll rub it a little bit. He'll be back.
All right, Casey's looking at a 3rd down situation. They need a good solid 1 for a 1st down. Do you go to Jabari? Yes, you do. And Jabari gets right at it. I believe he's got it, according to the way the official is coming in from the sidelines. He would have it by about a half a yard. Dinwiddie made the hit, but not until Jabari had picked up the 1st down. There goes the J train to the sidelines. Phillips still coaching. As long as they're out there, he will do that. And Randy Sanders, his offensive coordinator. The other man you saw there with the headset on was Woody McCorvey, the running back coach. Cedric Houston has replaced Jabari tailback, and Cedric gets the call. He tries to get outside. Not much there. He finally did turn a corner and get across the 30 to the 31 before Hurtley Harrison ran him out of bounds. He wound up with 6 hard-earned yards that time.
And my guess is, for the fans, they're probably wondering, why is Philip Fulmer going back to running the football? Because he feels like there's going to be a situation maybe next game or in the bowl game where the running game is going to have to play a huge factor. And there's a great opportunity in this game up 41-0 to work on running the football. You don't want to forget about that. You're having a lot of success throwing it. You don't want to forget about running the football.
Pounding the rock, as they call it in Tennessee, but they do go back to the air this time, and with success. Ball is caught and out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Mark Jones. Who else? Mr. Consistency, Mr. Do Everything today, 15 yards.
Good play action. He actually makes a play action fake to the fullback, Will Rebel, and throws a great ball out to Mark Jones. Those two have hooked up really well in the second half of this football season.
1st down and 10 to go with the ball at the 46-yard line of Tennessee. Casey Clausen, the senior. In his last home game, hands it off to his tailback, and Cedric Houston is hit after a short gain. Kalishi Ohanaje out of the secondary made the stop for Vanderbilt. The gain is 2. Early minutes of the second half. Tennessee up 41-0. Scoring virtually every way you can score here, except maybe a block kick today. By the way, they have blocked 4 already this year, so they've done a good job in that area. They run the counter this time, and William Rebel, the fullback, comes back against the grain and shows that he can run a little bit. I guess that's his 2nd carry of the year. His other only carry was a burst for a touchdown up the middle last week against Mississippi State. Here's a play.
All sides, defense in the neutral zone. We're going to take the results of the play, the end of the run. 1st down.
Well, the official explained it for you. 9 yards. 10 yards, really. So it is now a 2nd down, or 1st down and 10 to go for Tennessee as they move into Vanderbilt territory. Trying to get the running game going pretty good right here. They've had great success, unbelievable success throwing the football. So going back to the run, to the pass this time, and it is a little too high, intended for Jason Swain, and Jason couldn't quite pull it down. Casey threw it to the sideline where only Jason could catch it. There's a good look at Swain. He, Brett Smith, good-looking future there. We've talked a lot about Chris Hannon, who we like an awful lot. Meacham, of course, who hasn't played but will play an awful lot for Tennessee. Another look at the incompletion there. But receiver, your old position, Terrence, seems to be in good hands.
Well, I mean, it was a concern for the last couple of years, and they really, I think, went out and addressed that concern. And that's going to be, I think, one of the strengths of this offensive football team for the next 3-4 years to come.
Cedric Houston, correction, Troy Fleming this time carrying the football. Give number 27 a little limelight, and he gets 6 yards. There's another guy who's playing his final game at Neyland and has had a good career.
It's such an unselfish player. I mean, Troy Fleming has done just about everything that they've asked him to do. He's a special teams player also and does a fine job on special teams. Also plays a fullback role and tailback role in their one-back set.
Tennessee looking at a 3rd and 5 right here. Good shot of Casey as he goes out of the shotgun and wants to throw for it. He's got an open field and he should get his first down, and he slides, and he does by a couple of yards or more. So twice today Casey has pulled the ball down and able, well, lack of speed, I guess. Not great speed, but great know-how, great knowledge of where he should be, and he got 8 yards. As a matter of fact, that's a pretty good gain for the quarterback.
And usually when the defense is in man coverage in the secondary, that will open up some huge lanes for your quarterback to be able to run and pick up the first down.
Casey, a very smart player, of course, manages a game as well as anybody we've had around here. There's a pitch to Cedric, and he's trying to get outside. Correction, it's Riggs. They keep rotating these tailbacks in, and that's good. 7 yards for Gerald. It's been Cedric Houston, then Gerald Riggs.
A little misdirection here, and Gerald Riggs, I'd like to see him turn this up a lot quicker, stringing it out a little bit, trying to get outside of his block by Tony Brown.
Jabari, Corey Larkins have also played. 4 tailbacks have played so far today for Tennessee. Give Riggs an opportunity, and he takes advantage of it. Nice bit of running. Is that what you're talking about right there?
Gerald Riggs, you know, talked about his involvement, and he's become more involved in the offense. He said last week, you know, I got a lot more plays than I normally get. I didn't do a lot, but I like the fact that I just got hit. He said, you know, it was good to get in the game and get hit and remember what it feels like to play football.
Well, he got 17 yards on that carry, so nice bit of running by Gerald Riggs. Good shot of him there was number 31. And he'll get more and more action, not only today, but next week. And as long as he stays all right in the classroom, he's going to be all right on the football field. Here's a pass in the corner, led James Banks a little too much out there in the sunny part of the end zone. James, pretty good speed, but not enough to run under that.
I think he may have gotten tied up with Bill for too long on the fade route. It's a 3-step drop. You want to sell it inside and then beat the corner to the corner, and James just got tied up a little bit too much with Bill Alford.
Corey Larkins might have been the only man who could have gotten to the corner on that.
My guess is if Casey sees the same coverage, he may go back to the same play.
9 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in this quarter. Hands it off to his tailback, and there's nothing doing this time for Gerald Riggs. He's actually going to lose a little bit as Hurtley Harrison, strong side linebacker, along with the strong safety Andrew Pace, came up to drop him for what will be a 1-yard loss. Another look at it.
Nothing there. Good, just good play by the Vanderbilt defense.
So it's a 3rd down and 7 now. Tennessee up 41-0 and driving here on 3rd and 7. And you're trying to dig in and keep more points off the board. Goes the pass into the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. Tennessee, 7 yards officially on the back.
Tennessee has just been fabulous in the red zone, or the orange zone they like to call it, since that fumble against Georgia at the end of the first half. They've just been awesome in the orange there.
Well, we'll have to figure up their percentage. Right now it says right at 90%.
Coming into this game, they were 19 of 21, with 15 of those being touchdowns coming into this ballgame.
Here's Wilhoit's kick up there, and it is good. And so Tennessee's lead is extended to 48-0 with 8:20 remaining in quarter number 3 as all of the Vols get involved in this one. Another look at the touchdown.
Good protection. It's a fade route to Derek Tinsley, and he's going to bobble this ball but catch it on the second try. Good concentration by Derek Tinsley. They run the smash route, the little inside with Mark Jones, opens it up to Derek Tinsley, who comes up with the touchdown.
You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. 8:20 remaining in the quarter. There's a good shot of Derek Tinsley on the sidelines, who's a really outstanding athlete.
And I think we talked about Derek Tinsley since he became involved in the Alabama game. He's either, when he touches the ball, he either scores touchdowns or he gets first downs. Talk about the value of this football player.
He's smiling there, but he's a game breaker, as they say. Wilhoit will kick off now, and Vanderbilt will try to get something started that they haven't been able to do today. That's some sort of offense, and just little short spurts of first down here or there. Nothing, though, consistent at all. There's the scoring drive, 15 plays, covered 87, and took a big chunk off the clock. Derek
was so involved in that win at Miami. He scored the touchdown, ran the same play to pick up the first down, and then recovered the fumble on the punt return.
Thatcher brings it a yard deep out of the end zone, and it was a good decision. He's still on his feet and going to go all the way up pretty close to the 40-yard line. So an excellent return. Officially, it'll be 39-yard return. And Brandon Johnson, a defensive back, had to drop him. But we have a flag on the play, and it's probably going to be a hold. Vanderbilt is retreating, and I think that's the call we're going to get, unfortunately, for the Commodores.
Holding on the receiving team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Official marking it off, and it'll pull it back to about the 18-yard line. So they had a chance there for a real spark, and then a holding call has put them back inside their own 20.
Bobby Johnson telling the refs, you're not even giving me a chance to get started.
Cutler, with his work cut out for him, will be back to throw. Escaped one man, got hit as he threw and threw it out of bounds. Robert Peace racked him pretty good just as he was turning loose of the football.
Good pressure by the Tennessee defense.
There's the defensive coordinator, Johnny Chavis, who has to be awfully happy with what his team has accomplished in the last game and in this one. Now, did give up some cheap scores late to Mississippi State, but overall, I think he's very happy.
And if you know John Chavis, you know he's going to continue to get after the quarterback. Now, he may bring in his second and third teamers, but he's going to continue to play his type of defense, which is aggressive, get after the quarterback type defense.
Cutler goes into the shotgun here with a 2nd and 10. Fires, got his man, got hit and knocked down. Well shy of the first down. Norval McKenzie coming out of the backfield, and Kevin Burnett made the hit. And when Burnett hits you, you know it. 5-yard gain.
Good protection. Finds a little dump off underneath, and Kevin Burnett is one of those linebackers that's going to be coming back. He battled back from a knee injury where he missed all of last season, and really feels like he's just now at full speed and at full strength.
So it's a 3rd down and 5. Kind of a big down here for Vanderbilt. They'd like to kind of string something together, keep Tennessee's offense off the field, and they complete the pass and get the first down to Marlon White. Jason Allen made the hit, but too little too late. 8 yards picked up on that one, so it does move the chains and keeps Vanderbilt's drive alive.
A good pickup and a great catch by Marlon White, going up to bring it down for the first down.
When you go up like that, you know you're going to get hit, so gutty reception. 6:52 remaining in this quarter as the clock ticks away. Quarter number 3. Gorgeous day in East Tennessee, and so far all Tennessee. They give us time to the tailback. McKenzie, and Constantine Richmond hits him after a yard or two. Constantine, another one of the seniors that's saying goodbye to Big Neil and to the Vol Nation. As far as the home game is concerned, still a little more action for him, but none here. No more running through the tee for these seniors, and his parents said that's a big emotional moment the first time you do it and the last time. 48-0. Vanderbilt trailing, trying to get any kind of spark going. Give it off to Doster. Doster can't find much. 1 yard gain for Doster. Harris Harrelson.
And Constantine Richmond, along with Scott Wells, are two seniors who I think both are also married.
Yes, they are.
So
in fact, Scott Wells became a father just 2 nights before the Miami game. As a big boy. Cutler in the shotgun, looking at a 3rd and 8. Got big pressure on him. Fires it, got his man, but paid a price. Eric Davis, almost undressed out there. And the man doing it, Jason Allen.
The man making the play, Jason Allen, but this is set up by the pressure from Kevin Simon, the linebacker. You see the ISO here with Jason Allen and the wide receiver. Simon brings the pressure, and Jason Allen brings the pop.
Jason Allen and Corey Campbell will be the line strong and free safety next year. Here's the kick. Tinsley is waiting for it, and he catches it and moves forward for a little bit of yardage up to the 30-yard line. Tennessee will put it in play, 1st down and 10. That stops the clock at 4:41 remaining in quarter number 3. Punt was 43 yards. The return was 7. Both of these schools opened their basketball season with victories last night.
Most of Tennessee scoring drives today have looked just a lot of Casey Clausen both throwing the ball and making things happen with his feet. They played 4 different tailbacks today. All of them have contributed. Gerald Wicks here, you see the exceptional ability of the young sophomore and maybe a glimpse of what Tennessee has in the future at running back. And finally, Derek Tinsley, big play Derek Tinsley for the touchdown.
So they did a little running, they did a little throwing in that drive, and then the defense did their job, and Tennessee's offense is back on the field. Jabari Davis is the tailback once again. Tennessee and the Kentucky Wildcats a week from today. That will be a 12:30 start Eastern time, 11:30 Central time for the game in Lexington.
The fans have the wave going.
They've got the wave going.
First time we've seen that this year.
Here's the pass from Clausen out to William Rebel, and he's out of bounds after a short gain. Hit by Lorenzo Parker. The gain is 3 officially.
And it's good to see Will Rebel get involved, catching the football. The big sophomore fullback who's going to become a really good player for Tennessee. One of the strongest players on the Tennessee football team.
That was a good example of his strength right there. They couldn't bring him down. 2nd down and 7 to go for Casey. Gives it off to Rebel this time, and not much there. Just a little bit of sugar, I guess you could say, for William Rebel.
Well, I mean, you got to give a guy
a little dessert.
A guy that runs into linebackers every play, you got to give him a little bone every now and then. And it was good to see Will get into the end zone last week, and it's good to see him involved early in this ball game here today.
Goes out to a pretty good round of applause. 3rd down conversions today. Tennessee 7 of 11, so they've done quite well. Vanderbilt not been able to do much in that department. Tennessee needs 5 yards for a 1st down. Need to move it to the 40-yard line. Clausen's going to try to do it through the air. And it's incomplete. Intended for C.J. Payton and pretty well covered by Vanderbilt's Parker. There is a flag down back at the 30-yard line, which indicates it might be against Tennessee.
I'm not sure where the hold came in.
It will be a holding call, and Here's the referee.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. Holding on the offense, it's declined, it'll be 4th down.
Vanderbilt declines, forcing Tennessee to punt the football. On a 4th and 5 situation, Tennessee will bring the punting team in. And Ronald Hatcher will drop back into safety. Dustin Caldwell.
And Dustin may have needed to stretch out before coming in. This is only his 2nd punt of the day.
Yeah, he has done a whole lot today. He needs some pretty good stats here to win that Ray Guy Award, which I kind of think he might do this year. They got the kick away. Vanderbilt tried to block it, put on a pretty good move there, but Hatcher fields it at the 18, retreats, can't find much room, finally kind of crawls back up to about the 23. 49-yard punt that time, and about an 8-yard return. Derek Tinsley actually made the stop. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Glad to have you with us if you're a Tennessee fan. I know you've enjoyed the fireworks today here. If you're a Vanderbilt fan, well, it's next year. Team got everybody back. Not a senior in the starting rotation for Vanderbilt. Cutler throwing long and way too long. Eric Davis was in the neighborhood. Tennessee had him pretty well covered over there, but Cutler just aired it out a little too much.
Well, he was looking for Eric Davis, and then he saw Kevin Burnett and Dimitri and Bill and said, I can't wait on you, Eric. I'm going to throw this one away.
All right.
I'm sorry, not Dimitri and Bill, maybe Tony McDaniel.
Bill's a little bit alike. Cutler now is 8 for 21 today, only 59 yards. Here's the give to his tailback, and he gets across the 35 to the 36-yard line before he is stopped. That's Hatcher running the football, and J.T. Mapu made the stop. They give him 2 yards. Mapu has played just solid football really since long about the Alabama game. He has just been really outstanding since then.
Outstanding, and such a great attitude he has. Just unselfish, wants to play wherever he can play and wants to play where he can help this team win.
2 minutes, 15 seconds, and the clock running. We're in the 3rd quarter. Vanderbilt trying to just get a first down, and they might have one right here. A nice bit of running by Cutler, kind of dodging people, and gets it up to what looks like a first down. Rashad Baker from the secondary made the stop. He got 9 yards on it. First down and 10 to go for Vanderbilt. Inside the 2-minute mark in the 3rd quarter. Another look.
And I think this is a quarterback draw by design, and you see the ability of Jay Cutler to run the football. I think Bobby Johnson just doesn't want to expose his quarterback to too many big shots.
Minute and 40 and running. Cutler and company trying to move away from their own end zone, try to get something positive going. Ronald Hatcher carries the football. He gets a little bit of running room before Tennessee's Kevin Simon crashes down on him. Give him 4, but there is a flag in the midst of everything down there, so the yellow flag has been dropped, and the officials are conferring.
It's a deal face mask. It's a defense. 5 yards in the run. It remain first down.
Well, Philip Fulmer's leading 48-0, but he's very displeased with that. He's very unhappy with any penalty, and that was a face mask. And you see the expression on Philip's face, which tells you he doesn't like that.
Let's see if we can see who's guilty of this incidental face mask. Oh, Kevin Simon. No, that was... Oh, come on, ref.
You think he's reaching?
I think the referees get graded after every game, and he said, if I don't call it, I'll get a minus.
And off to Tant. The running back gets across the 45. 3-yard pickup before Carlton Neal and Kevin Simon make the hit for Tennessee Volunteers. Under a minute to go in this quarter. Tennessee has an awful lot of fresh people in and out, have had for the past several minutes. Actually started in the first half. with pretty much wholesale substitution.
They have played a lot of people in the last 2 ball games and played a lot of people all season, and the blessing for them has been that they have not had many major injuries this season.
Tailback straight up the middle and straight down. Kevin Simon hits Ronald Hatcher. Simon is not a big guy. He's 5'11", maybe. Weighs about 225, but he brings it all on every play. There he is. And he's quick as a cat.
As you said, kind of small for a linebacker, but none of that size, trust me, is wasted. When he gets to the collision, believe me, there's a huge impact.
Good look at Kevin right there. And the final seconds tick down in quarter number 3 with 1 more to go from Big Neyland in Knoxville on a great, almost early fall-like day. 48-0, Tennessee leading. Boy, nice sea of orange shot for you right there with our cameras and spanning around the place. Folks are staying, even though the score and the outcome is pretty much decided. It's such a nice day. Why go anywhere else? They're enjoying the atmosphere.
It's a nice day, and there's also an opportunity to see some of these young players play in this ball game, and they want to stay and see the future of Tennessee football get a chance to play today.
Well, you're watching Tennessee and Vanderbilt with 1 more quarter to go. Where will Keyshawn Johnson end up now that the Bucks have given him his walking papers? Matt Stewart, Wes Durham, Ryan Stewart, and Rudy Martzke debate the future of the embattled wide receiver Monday at 5 Eastern Time on the Press Box. Don't miss the Press Box live, 5 o'clock Eastern on CSS. Vanderbilt 2nd down and 9 to go. McKenzie at tailback. Cutler drops back, throws it out in the flat. Tennessee converges on him after a short gain and knocks him down. J.T. Mapu and Gabriel Wilson, defensive tackle and safety, coming up to make the hit for Tennessee. This is the first time that Vanderbilt has crossed midfield today. And we're 1 minute into the 4th quarter, the first appearance in Tennessee's end of the field. And they're in there by about 2 inches.
Kind of lights out for Tennessee defensively, and I think that last play is an indication as to why. I mean, they swarmed that football really fast.
Run the option, and Tennessee missed a tackle, and he's out of bounds after picking up some yardage down to the 40-yard line. Ronald Hatcher, Kevin Burnett ran him out, but a nice little move that time.
Hatcher escapes a tackle of Mark Jones, which would have been for the loss, and makes something out of nothing, but pays at the end with the big hit by Kevin Burnett.
Actually picked up 11 yards on that one, so a little bit of a spark there for Coach Bobby Johnson. Most people who have met this man like him an awful lot. They think he's a good football coach. Right now, though, he's having a rocky afternoon. Out of the shotgun, Cutler hands off or fakes the handoff, and then the pitch to Hatcher, and Hatcher tries to sweep. Gets a little bit of running room there, but Tennessee not fooled greatly. And Gabriel Wilson holds him to a 3-yard gain.
And we talked so much about the ability of Gabriel Wilson. I think this play shows you exactly why he's so good. They're going to run the option, and the only thing out here for Tennessee is Gabriel Wilson. He is the last defensive person and makes an exceptional play.
He has had quite a year. We started the year with all the talk about Rashad Baker being a high draft pick, and now it's Gabriel who's going to be the man who moves up there. Cutler with pass knocked down. Gabriel Wilson on cue.
Gabriel says, "You like that? Watch this."
Yeah, I'll show you something. It was a good play once again, as he has made so many of them this year.
And as we talked about, he's a senior, a junior college transfer that led this football team last year in tackles and really built on that junior year, that solid junior year, and is having an outstanding senior campaign.
Timeout.
Vanderbilt has called a timeout here with 13:02 remaining in the football game, and Tennessee leading by a score of 48-0. Cutler will come to the sidelines as they're looking at a 3rd and 6 and would definitely like to remain in possession and pick up those 6 yards. You're watching Tennessee football on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast.
Tennessee offense fire all day, playing really, really good football, building on that win at Mississippi State, and Philip Fulmer has to be happy with the way his team has played today. John Chavis' defense kind of playing lights out. You got to believe he wants to keep Vanderbilt out of the end zone. He would like nothing more than to shut the Commodores out here today.
Well, we'll see how they do. 13 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the contest.
It's Smokey in an unusual outfit. Look like a pimp outfit.
Well, now that you say it. 48-0. Tennessee leading. Commodores trying to move the chains and keep the drive alive, and they're probably going to do it. It's going to be very close to the first down mark. I think he got it. McKenzie was hit by, of course, Gabriel Wilson, who's been on just about every play defensively today in some form. But it did move the chains. He got 7 yards, and so Vanderbilt does retain possession, and most of all, they keep Tennessee's offense on the sideline for another few plays.
Another solid play by Gabriel Wilson and Antoine Stewart, the backup cornerback also.
Direct snap this time to McKenzie, and McKenzie goes straight ahead, but Gabriel Wilson makes the hit. 2-yard gain. Greg Jones was also in there defensively.
Defensively, I guess you could say the fourth quarter belongs to Gabriel Wilson.
I tell you what, he and Mark Jones have really been standouts today. A lot of people have, but those two have just made play after play after play. Cutler at quarterback all the way for Vandy. Takes the direct snap from the shotgun. Looks for his man and fires, almost intercepted. Tennessee just came close to picking that one off. And
guess who?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, number 8. Number 1 in your heart, number 8 in your program. Gabriel Wilson.
He started 17 of the last 18 ball games for the Volunteers, and you see why. Just always around the football, looking for an opportunity to make plays, and trust me, his teammates will give him grief about this.
Tell you what, pro scouts are a floor above us right here. I can guarantee you they're writing, they're scribbling notes right and left right now.
And he's upset because he's tied for the team lead with 2 interceptions. If he'd have picked that one off, he would have taken the team lead.
Tennessee trying to get some pressure on Cutler. He fires, intercepted. On the sidelines, up to the 30, 35, and still fighting for yardage is Antoine Stewart.
Antoine Stewart, the freshman from Dumfries, Virginia.
Return of 37 yards.
He's a backup for Jason Allett at that right cornerback and comes up with a huge pick. Bad decision by Jay Cutler. He's going to get outside the pocket and just trying to make anything happen, makes a bad decision. Stewart in perfect position for the pick.
So Tennessee's offense is back on the field and taking over with a 1st and 10 with 11:25 remaining in the contest. Another look.
Tennessee creating turnovers, not turning the football over. If you do that, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Gerald Riggs is the tailback right now. And they give it to Gerald, and he's got some daylight and almost had an awful lot of daylight. Got about 9 yards before Javon Hay made the hit. 9 yards exactly. Javon Hay went out with a stinger earlier in his shoulder, and we're a little bit concerned about him, but he's back out there. He's been there. Vanderbilt people tell me their best defensive player in the last couple of games. C.J. Leak has come in at quarterback. Casey Clausen gets a chance to exit to a standing ovation here at Neyland Stadium. C.J. in at quarterback. Gerald Riggs is his tailback. Rebel is fullback. Whistle stops it. May have been delay of game. New quarterback coming in. That's something that happens from time to time.
It'll take 2 plays for him to settle down, and Philip Former upset.
Dead ball. Delay. Hits the offense. 5 yards. Remains second down.
With C.J., he's saying, C.J., you got to look at the game clock. And C.J.'s thinking, no, Coach, I just got to make sure I get the football.
Well, it goes from 2nd and 1 to 2nd and 6 after the 5 yards here. So C.J. got a little more work ahead of him to pick up the first down, keep the chains moving, and the offense moving. This will do it. Nice bit of running by Gerald Riggs. Showing some real nice footwork right there. Number 31. He was finally hit by Osemiji. Final numbers for the day and for the final game in Neyland Stadium for Casey Clausen. Not a bad day's work.
Take away the interception and just a great day. Gerald Riggs received, I think, what is a great compliment from the linebacker group, the starting linebacker group here at Tennessee. They said, you know, Houston and Davis are good, but Gerald Riggs is just exceptional.
Not much blocking for him on that one as he is hit by McKenzie and Osemiji. We've gone under the 10-minute mark. The shadows are coming across from the press box, pretty well covering the stadium here. The press box and the sky boxes above it. Still just a gorgeous shirt sleeve day. CJ, not too much action, as you can see. Tell you what, this guy has got a good arm, though. We've seen that on a couple occasions when he came in. He hands off to his tailback, and here's a big hole. Big driving play by Corey Larkins all the way down to about the 20-yard line.
And I think the ball came loose, but I'm not sure he wasn't down.
We'll see if it's Vanderbilt's ball. Was he down? No, they say he was not down, so he did turn it loose. And boy, it was after a good run, and that's a shame for him. A 22-yard run. Let's take another look and see if he was indeed down. It was a good call. Not that we're going to change it. It was a good call.
It was a good call. Fumble. Vanderbilt defender gets his left hand in and strips that ball loose.
Randy talking to his tailback and saying protect that ball at all times. And this is a veteran player. Stephen Bright has come in at quarterback for Vanderbilt, and everything kind of explodes right there on Ronald Hatcher.
And I think Taria Smalls, another senior, welcomes him to the ball game.
Well, he welcomes him to the tune of -3. Stephen Bright, his numbers. He has got a pretty awesome job ahead of him. He's trailing 48-0 and got 8 minutes to try to do something. Of course, what they want to do is just keep their offense on the field as long as they can and kill some clock and get this over with. Clark Lee, third-string fullback, carries the football, and he got a yard. There he is, number 29. Taria Smalls, left tackle, made the hit for Tennessee, along with Turk McBride.
Taria Smalls is a senior from South Carolina, Pineville, South Carolina.
Most Tennessee guys on the field, second and third team right now. They're getting in some valuable playing time. Bright in the pocket, being pressured out of the pocket, and he's going to run with it, and going to pick up some very good yardage and a first down. Marvin Mitchell chased Stephen Bright down, but Bright got across the 35 and will move those chains, keep his offense out there. He got 17 yards, as a matter of fact, and Tennessee's got a man shaken up.
Looks like Marvin Mitchell.
Number 40, it is Marvin Mitchell, who could start for virtually any other team around. He's an excellent linebacker. He just happens to be playing behind the likes of Robert Peace and Kevin Burnett and Kevin Simon. Peace is the only one that Tennessee loses. He's a senior and actually has already graduated. But these kids behind him, the two Mitchells and Omar Gaither a little bit shaken up last week, but they have some real talent coming back at linebacker.
And the first guy there to see if he's okay is who? Jason Mitchell, the other Mitchell.
Yep.
Both sophomores and just outstanding.
There's Marvin from Norfolk, Virginia. I remember when they recruited him. I think he was the last man they signed that year. And some people were saying, who is he? Well, we know who he is.
I think he got his hand caught in a pile in the collision.
Stephen Bright is the quarterback, relieving Cutler now that Vanderbilt is behind 48-0. They're getting a look at this youngster who is a freshman, 6'4", 200 plus. In the pocket and trying to fire. The ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage, and so
Turk McBride.
Big Turk is in there. Turk McBride is 6'4", 262 pounds, and he is a true freshman. Boy, when they signed him back in January, there was an awful lot of excitement around the Vol Nation. They'd all heard about him.
And that's a great play by the freshman. Get your hands up. If you can't get to the quarterback, if he gets his feet set, you see him throwing, get your hands up. Get up in the air.
7:11 remaining in the contest. They run straight ahead and nowhere to go. Closing down defensively the Big Orange for zilch yardage. Carrying the football that time was Eric Bryan, who's not listed on our depth chart right here, but we did find him in the program. So there you go. Average per play. Oh, when you average 6.8 per play, you are going to move chains. 48-0. Vanderbilt trying to just pick up first downs right here. Pass a little too high from Bright out at the flat. Incomplete.
Ron Bullock.
And I must say, Vanderbilt has gone deep into their chart now. Oh, Cutler's final numbers for the day. Pretty rough day for him after coming off Player of the Week honors against Kentucky. Tennessee had his number today.
How quickly in the SEC do you go from being a hero?
10th punt of the day for Vanderbilt. Derek Tinsley will field it. And still fighting for yardage. He's going to be driven down at the 30-yard line, though, by Erdley Harrison. So Tennessee now, with a lot of fresh people on the field, will take over. 39-yard punt, a 6-yard return. You're watching Tennessee football on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Tennessee has accomplished, I'm sure, everything they wanted to accomplish today. They had a lot of respect for Vanderbilt coming in, but they were hoping to get a comfortable win, get a lot of people playing time, and that's what they have done today, and seal another Southeastern Conference win with one more facing them. Always tough road place, Kentucky next week. Monday night is Tennessee night on CSS. Don't miss the Philip Fulmer Show at 7 o'clock Eastern, followed by an encore presentation of volunteer football at 8. Then relive the glory of the seasons past with Vintage Orange at 11 o'clock Eastern. Get it all only on CSS, only on cable. Now Philip Fulmer manages to smile right there, so he can afford that with 6 minutes to go and his team up 48-0. C.J. Leak is the quarterback for Tennessee, replacing the senior Casey Clausen, who went out to the standing ovation. C.J. rolls, he throws, got his man. It is complete to Jomo Fagan in Vanderbilt territory. Andrew Pace made the hit. So Jomo comes up with his first catch of the day. I believe that is 10 receivers now that they've hit today. 19 yards on the play.
A good throw by C.J. Leak. You said he had a good arm, and you see it there, and a great catch by Jomo Fagan.
All right, once again, Tennessee in a 2-receiver set this time. Giving off to the tailback, and here's some daylight down to the 40-yard line and maybe onto the 39-yard line before the hit is made. And we have yet another running back in there. 11 yards is the pickup this time.
Is that David Yancey, a freshman from Norfolk, Virginia?
1st and 10, Tennessee.
David Yancey. Maybe a name that you're not totally familiar with.
And blocking for David Yancey, who? Guillaume Dumont. He's a kid that's going to med school down at Emory. So he's getting an opportunity to play here.
He was one of the seniors introduced today here. Don't mess up the hands. Might be a future surgeon there. Not much going right here.
Yancey once again on give.
Osemiji made the stop that time of David Yancey, who's 5'8", 176 from Norfolk, Virginia.
Also in the ball game for Tennessee, Justin Reed, the sophomore tight end from Punta Gorda, Florida. So they're playing just about everybody.
They have just about cleaned the bench, I think, right now. And they're going to pretty well keep it on the ground here. They want to run out the clock. As I said, that he throws the football. Why not? Down close to a first down, but a little bit short to Chris Hannon. 9 yards. I guess the theory is let's keep going with the chains and don't turn it back over 2.
And a lot of times Tennessee's offensive system makes you do this. If you got 8 men in the box and then you're in that situation, you automatically check to their quick game. So I just think that's part of the progression, and C.J. Leak did a good job.
It's just an automatic situation.
Yes.
What you're saying. You don't even think about anything else. Hannon, by the way, has 5 catches today, 6 in the last 2 games, and 4 touchdowns. So he's beginning to make a name for himself in the Vol Nation. C.J. hands off, quick pop right over left tackle goes David Yancey. This is a non-scholarship player, a walk-on. 8 yards on the carry.
But if you're Philip Fulmer, you got to like this situation. This is almost like a spring ball game for you. You get a chance to see a lot of young players. They're on film. You can coach them better. You can help them improve because they've actually played and got some good experience. So he's loving this.
We've all come away from a spring game raving about some guy we'll never hear from again. Do get to see a lot of guys, and they deserve to play. There's a slam at right tackle and guard by, once again, Yancey. And not much there this time. Vanderbilt pretty well waiting to close that one down. Let's give him a yard. 3 minutes, 7 seconds remaining. Tennessee Volunteers on the road to Kentucky, and then try to win up there and just see what happens around the league and if they get any help from the other teams. But the main thing to do is win out and then let the chips fall where they may and go to the best bowl situation you possibly can. They've impressed the Bull Scouts here today, I'm sure of that. Just driving in the middle, running the clock and keeping it going. Andrew Pace made the stop of Mr. David Yancey.
And coming in the ball game, another senior, Brad Sharp, another one of those seniors we talked about from Newcomb, Tennessee. He's coming in the fullback role, number 44.
The offensive brain trust there of the Tennessee Volunteers. Here's Sharp we were talking about. Clock running, about to go under the 2-minute mark, and CJ decides to call a timeout.
Not because
Timeout. Tennessee.
Not because there was a question as to the play call, because the play clock was going to run out, and he didn't want to face Philip Fulmer again if he let the play clock run out.
He's already had 1 delay. 2 delay of games would not set well. That would put lots of demerits in your column. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Well, it's been a perfect football day in every way for the Tennessee fans. The weather just absolutely glorious, and the team, well, they have been near perfect in virtually every phase of the game today. They have executed well in the run game. The passing game has been outstanding. Special teams play, kicking, defense, you name it. NCAA hoops tip-off next Saturday on CSS when the Mississippi State Bulldogs take on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers in a live hard-court matchup. at 8 o'clock Eastern. Catch it on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Tennessee's basketball team opened up with a victory last night against Wofford College here, 11-point win at Thompson Bowling. Vanderbilt opened up with a win at Belmont at their new facility in Nashville last night. So we got the overlapping season now going in the world of sports, basketball and football. CJ pitches wide to his left. They try to cut back with Yancey. Flag goes down. Probably a hold, but we'll hold everything to make sure. It is holding against the Tennessee Volunteers. Minute 53. Mercifully, it's ticking down for Vanderbilt.
Tom Mattingly just alerted me to a couple of really good stats. Tennessee has gone 9 quarters without a TD, and the last time they did that
on the offense
was in 2000.
The previous spot, repeat third down.
Tennessee retreating after the holding call here. So we have run down to the final less than 2 minutes to go, and Tennessee is going to win this rivalry game with Vanderbilt in style, and never really was in doubt right from the first. Tennessee took command early, and they have totally in every facet dominated this game. CJ hands off to Yancey, dancing around, trying to find some. Look at him. For a guy who doesn't weigh 180 pounds, he moves pretty good right there. Lorenzo Parker finally drags him down.
Check that. Tom's stat was that we shut Bandy out 3 years in a row.
Tom needs to just stand up and talk. He's doing a lot of pointing here.
If we finish here,
doing sign language to us here, isn't he?
If you finish this game 48-0 this year, last year 38-0, year before that 24-0. Good job, Tom. Took me a while to get it right.
Tom is the #1 spotter in the Southeastern Conference, without question.
Timeout.
CJ.
It's the second timeout in the second half.
There's our spotter.
There's our man.
Tom,
right there.
Tom, smile for the camera, Tom.
There you go. Way to go, Tom. So there's one more timeout here. It stops the clock with 54 seconds to go. Why do you call a timeout at this stage unless it is, in CJ's case a moment ago, to keep from getting a delay of the game? Some strategy is being planned here, down 48-0. While we're waiting during the timeout here, we'll just give you a brief glance of the Tennessee basketball team in action last night at Thompson Bowling against Wofford's Lambsville. I tell you what, they've got a youngster on the team this year I think you're going to like a lot, McFadden, who can fill it up. And Crump, the big guy in there, they've got some new faces. And the exciting thing about this team is they're not going to stand around much. They're going to bring it up and down the court. They're in a tough division, of course, with the likes of Kentucky and Florida, who will be their usual good selves. But I think this will be an exciting team that the Vol basketball fans will enjoy very much this year. So they're off and running with in more ways than one, a victory, and they do run. All right, back to the action here, football-wise. CJ on a little trick play, I guess, to David Yancey, but he didn't trick anybody there. Running motion all over the field and then losing 5 yards. And so with 48 seconds to go, Vanderbilt will take over the football, and we'll play this string out right here in Knoxville. Tennessee in the midst of everything else right now. This is the hard thing about college coaching. Not only do you have to get ready every game, but you have to recruit every day of your life. And they're doing that right now. A lot of prospects are here today, and they have watched a very impressive performance by Tennessee. Vanderbilt tries to break one and do pretty good run that time. Out to almost the 45-yard line, a 14-yard gain by Jason Borton. Again on the depth chart, and we go pretty deep on our depth charts, as everybody does in the broadcasting world, but a lot of these guys are on the program and not on the depth chart. 29 seconds to go. Right hands off, stumbling, and again some very positive yardage is picked up by the Commodores down to Bork again, down to about the 45-yard line. This is Bullock, Ron Bullock this time, who's come in. 12 yards gained on this one, and Tennessee has got a player down with a apparent leg injury. So that stops the clock with 18 seconds remaining in this contest.
And Corey Campbell is going to get up.
Kind of wonder why Corey Campbell is still out there at this stage. But he's up and walking off, and obviously is not serious by any stretch of the imagination. He's okay. 11 seconds to go. This will about do it right here. And they're going with a straight handoff, and the clock will tick down. 2 seconds, 1 second. Another Tennessee victory over Vanderbilt. It was solid. It was right from the start. 48-0, and they played virtually everybody who came into the stadium wearing an orange uniform today, including a lot of walk-ons and a lot of other people. And Vanderbilt gave a lot of people an opportunity to play late in this ball game. But what can you say except two really outstanding offensive performances back-to-back? Granted, Mississippi State and Vanderbilt are not at the top of the ladder in defense in this league, but you look at the execution and everything, the catches, and it was just two really outstanding offensive performances, and one more game to do that, and that will be next week in Lexington.
And what a foundation to build on. Going into Kentucky, this ball game, you play 2 quarterbacks, 9 different people run the football, 12 different receivers catch the football.
That's a lot of people. We'll take a break. We'll be back. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast.